am generally writing and reciting poems, but this time I came across a very touching story on social media. तो सोचा कि जरूर आप लोगों के साथ उसको शेयर करूं। नाम मैंने दिया उसको कोड वर्सेस केयर। कोड CODE versus care. Who am I? My name is Vivek Sharma. I am Vivek Sharma. I am 32 years old. Whenever people ask me what do, I simply say that I run a grocery store. People often smile because they know something else about me. I was a gold medalist in computer science from IIT Bombay, and even today I have that one offer letter safely kept in my cupboard from a San Francisco company that once offered me $240,000 per year. I never tore that letter, but I never used it either. I grew up in a modest town, Kanpur. My father was a railway clerk and my mother used to give tuitions. Money was always tight. I was from a lower middle class, but my parents had one dream, that I should be well educated. So my father withdrew his provident fund for my coaching, and my mother sold her bangles. Their sacrifices paid off. I secured an excellent rank, joined IIT Bombay, excelled in academics, interned with global companies, and eventually received a dream offer from America. My joining date was fixed. The visa interview was scheduled, and everyone in the family was very excited, and I was super excited. But then what happened? The life changed. जो सबके साथ होता है. During a visit home, I noticed my father was unwell. Tests revealed his heart complications, and they required surgery. Soon after, my mother was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. Then chemotherapies, surgery, medicines, and the expenses mounted rapidly. My father had retired, and savings were all exhausted. And my mother's treatment had already begun. I found myself standing at crossroads. In one hand was the offer letter, and in the other hand was the bills of the hospitals. Now, postponed my joining date, but they declined because they wanted someone immediately. So one evening I watched my father struggle to bend down to pick up a prescription that had fallen from his hand. At that moment I asked myself, if I leave now, who will take them to hospital? Who will sit beside my mother during the chemotherapy? Who will remind my father to take his medicine? Who will simply be there with them? I was the only son. The next day, I decided. What did I decide? I cancelled my visa interview. And friends told me that I was making a huge mistake. Yeah, I know it was a blunder. I know. But then, I stayed in Kanpur, took a modest job, and spent my evenings in hospitals. I watched my mother greased her hair and bought her a wig. I accompanied my father to every checkup. Slowly my mother recovered and my father's health also stabilized. Financially, the things were very bad. Eventually, I had to open a grocery store beneath our house. So during the day, I was selling rice and dal, and at night, I did freelancing coding. Later, I also started teaching programming to children in my neighborhood. In 2019, my mother was declared cancer-free. I was so very happy and satisfied by what I could do for her. A few years later, one of my students won a national competition and my story attracted on social media. Attracted attention on social media. Perhaps this story reached the CEO of the same company. So, they contacted me again. They were starting an educational initiative in India and offered me a part-time leadership role. Today, my mornings begin at a grocery shop. My afternoons are spent teaching children and evenings involve working with global technology team. So recently my father celebrated his 68th birthday. So looking at me, he said, my son did not go to America. He stayed with me when I needed him the most. The truth is, do I regret my decision? What do you say?
No.
What do you say?
No.
Yes and no both. The truth is, sometimes I wonder what life would have been if I had gone to America. But when I serve tea to my father every day morning, and when my mother smiles, knowing she never fought her illness alone, I feel at peace. So I did not choose between money and love. I chose between two futures. One which promised wealth. The other which promised presence.
Wow.
I cannot say my choice was perfect. I can't say. But it is the choice with which I can now live peacefully. Because some sacrifices are not losses.
Beautiful.
They are investments in love.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful thought.
And perhaps true success is not measured only by how far we have traveled in life, but also by who we stand beside when they needed us most. Thank you so much.